Today on Repairs 101 we're going to be changing the drive belt on the power brush head for this vacuum cleaner, Filter Queen Majestic. Okay, now as with any repair on any appliance, you want to disconnect its electrical supply before you get started. I've disconnected the power supply, of course, first, and I've taken the power head off of the end of the wand just to make it easier to deal with. And you know, it's all predictably bound up with hair, so you just want to take some scissors and cut and pull that out. Okay, so we want to get these screws out. These 4 screws here are going to take the cover off the top, this part here, but what we want to do is just take off the bottom plate so we can access the roller brush here. You know, we're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. The technical term for this is a recessed cruciform drive, but it's known universally as the Phillips. Just pull that off. Okay, got the 2 screws out. Just pulls off like that, nice and easy. And of course, the company has provided to adjust belt and brush or to adjust worn brush, and the instructions on how to do that. There's the belt, and you can see that it's no longer, oh, there you go. Well, there's your problem right there, Vern. Of course, now in order to replace this broken belt, I am going to have to take off the top cover. Before I go any further to replace this broken belt here, I'm going to remove the brush. It's all bound up with hair, which we'll remove. But the most important part in removing the belt, when you do, you see all this horrible stuff that's accumulated. You want to be sure that you're keeping all the spacers, all the little end pieces like that, in the same place and indexed in the same position, because you'll see that this has a unique shape and will only fit one way. And so you want to make sure that it goes back in the way it came out. So once you got the brush off, you just take off the top cover. You just take the top cover off by removing these 4 screws here. Anyway, it looks like I'm really going to have to vacuum now. Take these screws out. Alright, take those, just put them aside. And as I said, just flip the top cover off. And that gives us access to the drive shaft. There's the drive motor there, and there's its drive shaft, and that's what we're trying to get access to. Now, before you go and put on the belt, you're going to want to examine the brush itself. And if you give a little roll test to the ends, well, this one's moving nice and loose. Pull it off and you can see there's some crud. Looks like it's been greased not too long ago. So it's moving pretty good. This other end, on the other hand, is very, very stiff. Pull that off and you can see that it's all bound up with hair and debris. You just peel that out of there. Just get in there with the end of a screwdriver, you know, and look at the... Grab a seal pick if you've got one, but the screwdriver's working out just fine. There you go. There you go. Nice and clean. Okay, I'm just going to put a drop of tenacious oil in here. And what I said about these pieces here, and how they're unique, and you got to keep them in the same place. And they will only index in one direction. Of course, on the end of the axis are these cards that you can peel them off. Just peel them off like that. They ride in this groove, which also fills with air. Needs to be cleared in order for it to be free running. Digging away at it like this with the scissors, you know, any knife or what have you, any kind of scraping device, and you just pull on it like that. And then once that's clear, you can put this divider back on. It's very simple. Again, look at the other one as well. Just going to peel that off. Have a look inside. Nowhere near as bad, but of course you can get something. Like I said, you just give it a little dig with the scissors, and out it comes. So this is regular routine maintenance for a machine like this. You know, you want to get a lifetime out of a machine because it's a very expensive thing to purchase. And this is the kind of maintenance that you can do on it to ensure that you will get a lifetime of use out of your appliances. We're just going to put those back on, just like that. One. Brush has to go in the right way to accommodate for the belt drive area right here. Then, so when you've got your brush clean to your satisfaction, you got all the hair out at the dividers here, the end bearings as well, then you'll be ready to put it back in. Now of course the first thing you want to do is put the new belt on, because it's going to have to fit through here and reach back to the motor so that it all drops right in, sort of from end to end. Let's see. We're going to line that end up. I'm going to come over here and line this end up. Okay, that drops in like that. Oops, that goes in that slot, just like that. Okay, so now the roller's put back and the belt is here. Because I don't like fumbling with things, if I don't have to, I'm going to put these floor rollers back. You can see they're just snap into place right there. And the other one came right apart, fell out, but I'll just put the axle back in and then snap it right back into there. They're very loose fitting. And now I'm going to put the bottom plate back on, just to make sure all that stuff stays in place while I'm reattaching the belt. So the bottom plate was just held on with these two screws. Spin those back in real quick. Now when you're driving the screws home, keep in mind what I always say about torque, and that is don't over torque fasteners. In this case you've got steel screws biting into a plastic housing, and in a contest between steel and plastic, and in this case steel will win, and it will just destroy the plastic, and then you'll have nothing to bite into anymore. So now I've got the roller in place. I can flip it over, my drive belt here, right in front of the drive motor, and I'm just going to give it a tug with my little Phillips head screwdriver. Just hold on to it like that. I'm just going to pull it over, slip it on, and it's in place. And it will self-center, okay? It will find its own preferred place to ride. There we go. Just paddle it around by hand a little bit. And you can see it's self-centering. If your light bulb was burned out, now would be a good time to change it. It's just a spring-loaded bayonet mount type light bulb. Same kind you have in old automotive. You see two-post, push it in, bayonet style mount, push in and turn. Push in and turn to pull out, push in and turn to mount. 4 more screws and we're done. Here we go. Okay, just spin down the last screw and we are ready to plug the machine back in and clean up the mess. So all I need to do is reconnect the wand, connect the power source. I already plugged the machine in.